Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at a Rola amplifier. This is a Lead 200B model. These are pretty uncommon, so we'll do a little bit of a walkthrough of the circuit as we're taking a look at it. This one does have an issue. I've been told that there are not many of these around, especially this Lead 200. This guy has 4 KT88s, I believe. But we'll flip it around and check it out. And apparently the front end, the preamp side, is similar to a Silver Jubilee. Well, the power amp is similar to a Hiwatt 200. So let's open it up, see what's going on. Before we pull the chassis, we can take a look and see this guy is serial number 1 of this model, the Lead 200B. You can see we've got 16, 8, and 4 ohm taps for the 2 speakers. Looks like we have a foot switch jack, send and return for an effects loop, a couple fuses operating at 700 volts DC, which sounds about right for some KT88s. Oh yeah, mercury magnetics for the transformers. This thing's pretty heavy. It's got big beefy transformers. Check out that power transformer. That thing's a monster. Okay, let's pull the chassis and see what we can find. All right, just a quick look at the transformers and tubes. We've got a Tone Clone MMAJ0A. This must be the output transformer, I would think. Power transformer. This is the big beefy guy for getting up to the proper voltage for these 4 KT88s. We have a choke. We have 3 12AX7s. One thing I found before opening this up, this 2 amp fuse was actually a 3 amp fuse in the socket here. So I've gone ahead and replaced that with a 2 amp fuse. The 5 amp was correct. Let's flip this thing over and see what's going on inside. Okay, a quick look inside. This is very Marshall-y in the preamp section here. Not a huge fan of how some of these caps are secured or not, kind of just floating off the ground bus bar there. But otherwise, construction looks pretty good. Yeah, again, like having the caps. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure this is fine. But in a 200 watt amp, this is going to see some serious vibration, and these things are eventually going to fail if not properly secured, or put too much strain on the legs, and then a leg breaks. If that happens on your bias circuit, you're blowing your tubes, which are not cheap when it's a quad of KT88s. Sozo caps, Mallory 150s for, that's probably the coupling caps off the phase inverter, going to the power section. Some nice component choices otherwise, but again, you know, the wiring is not necessarily how I would prefer to do it. I like things to be very, very reliable. We have some diode clipping. Okay, yeah, so here, the 2 LEDs there, that is, the Silver Jubilees have diode clipping in them, which is how you get the extra gain. It's not the same as like a tube screamer or something, but it's a similar principle. You can see there's 3 diodes hiding right under here, and then 2 LEDs. So those are being put in a sort of asymmetrical pattern, if I'm remembering the circuit correctly. For the positive or negative side, it's going to clip differently. And then on the Silver Jubilee, I believe that's switched in from the channel select. Now there is this little relay daughter board here for the channel select for the foot switch, which is interesting. So that means we probably have 12 volts DC for switching this relay, which makes me wonder if we have DC heaters on this. So we'll check that out. I may go ahead and test the tubes before we get too far on this. The customer basically said this thing, despite being 200 watts, he can turn it up all the way at band practice, and it's loud, but not like earth-crushingly loud, which it should be for how this thing is built. So I'm going to test the tubes, make sure we don't have an issue there. It could be as simple as a phase inverter tube failing. So let's check that out, and then if everything looks good, we'll power up, take some voltages, and move forward. All right, so the KT88's tested out good. There's the very first preamp tube at the first stage was actually balanced for the gas test, which means there might be a leak in the vacuum on that, which could explain what's going on. Customer said there was a loud hum and also lack of power. So that could do both these things. I'm going to power it up with that tube in place first, just to see if I can hear the same issue that he heard going on. We're going to come up on the current limiter through my Variac, sorry, not through my Variac, through my load box, and then onto a speaker so I can throttle the amount of volume a little bit here. But let's see what this does. I'm going to pull the master volume back from 11 because we don't want to start there. Okay. Yeah, we'll just get some of these controls around the middle point. Okay. Let's see what happens when come on here. Okay, the light bulb came up bright and is starting to dim. Gonna get things in place to take some voltages. And let's come off standby here. Okay, if we bring the volume up a little bit. Okay, I'm not hearing any major hum. Let's see if we have voltages where we would expect them. Doing DC volts. And again, I'm on the current limiter, so things will be a little bit lower. There's our bias. Do we have plate voltage? Plate voltage. Plate voltage. And plate voltage. And bias. Okay. Let's take a look at our preamp tubes to see if we have the same. And I should be able to balance out there, and you guys can see that. Okay. So let's see. Check pin 1. There's our plate. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Well, looks good. This one's a little buried under there. Okay, but that's good. I have to sneak around from the other side here to get this one. Okay, plate voltages all around. Sounds like our relay is switching with the front panel switch. If you ever can't hear a relay switching, you can always put a pencil or something like a chopstick up against this, and then you can feel it switch in, which is kind of nice. All right, so we have voltages where I would expect. Let's put some signal on this thing and see what it sounds like at this point, because I'm not hearing the hum. Also, will come off the current limiter. Could be that we're just not hearing it because we're not at full power. Okay. All right, guitar in hand. We're powering on full power, going into the power station to attenuate the signal so I don't wake up all the neighbors. Let's come out of standby here. This is our clean channel. Yeah, that is, even with the attenuator on, pretty dang quiet. So I can talk over this right now, and that's at half volume on the master for a 200 watt amp. I don't think so. I'm going through, we're bypassing the attenuator. Yeah, and there is a hum. Now it looks like that LED for the front panel of this relay board is not soldered in all the way. So we're going to address that. Okay, clean channel is much louder than dirty channel, so that tells us something right there too. I wonder, now I have heard those Silver Jubilees are relatively quiet because of the clipping circuit, but still this is, I mean, I'm able to talk over this amp, which at the volume settings I have definitely should not be able to do. So let's try swapping out that preamp tube that's was suspicious on the tester, And then also I'll show you a closer look, but we need to solder that LED. As I was poking the relay board over here, the front panel channel indicator was going in and out. The LED was flashing, and but the channel wasn't switching. So there's not a problem with the relay circuit, but on closer inspection, these two wires, we'll take a closer look, but one of them is not. I don't know if it was ever soldered, to be honest. So I'll take a look at that and see what's going on. Okay, we will be right back. Just to give you a closer look here while the energy dissipates from the capacitors, but right here is where I'm talking about. Let's get a better angle on that. You can see right here, that pad looks like it never had any solder on it. And that goes to this, the LED for the channel indication. So we'll throw some solder on there, throw a new tube in the V1 position, see if things get a little louder. Okay, so LED has been resoldered, no longer flickering. I also replaced that first preamp tube, and this thing is now loud enough that I can't full volume test it, just because it's around 9 o'clock at night, without going through my attenuator, I should say. So, yeah, let's just give a... So that's with my attenuator at about 3 o'clock on the dial, or sorry, 9 o'clock at a setting of around 3. If I take it off the attenuator real quick, you can hear that's much, much louder. So I think we did just have a partial gas leak on that first preamp tube. This guy right here, which didn't show any signs of leakage. Sometimes it'll turn white if it's a really bad vacuum leak. This guy did not have that, but on my tube tester, basically you go to the gas setting and the needle bounces and then comes back up. And usually it bounces and then settles back down all the way to 0. This time it bounced and then stayed at about a quarter dial. So I believe we're good on this guy, kind of quick. I was hoping it would be something a little more complicated because I haven't been making many videos lately. But that being said, since this is kind of a rare amp, tomorrow when I'm off work and can get a little louder, I'll do a full sound demo of this guy so that you guys can hear what it sounds like going through a proper 4x12 without an attenuator. And also there are plenty of amps to work on. I will be going back through all those other series that are unfinished. Took a little time off for the summer and have been cleaning up my workspace, which had become a total mess. I may even make a little short video to show you the progress on that and why there has been a delay. It's to get set up to make better videos for you guys and make things more efficient on my end in a cleaner workspace that's nicer to work in. But yeah, all that's coming soon. So thanks again for watching as always. And yeah, the Rola 200B sounds like a total monster when it has tubes that actually work in it. We'll see you on the next one.